to make pie crust. This is Sweet Art Made Simple. I am Jill, and I always want to make things simple for you. I've been making pie crust, I think since I've been a little girl. I've been making it a lot of times. So I just want to show you the utensils you need. You definitely need a bowl. Now I use a metal bowl because I stick this in the freezer before I actually dump the flour, the sugar, and the salt first in here, and then the butter, and then the rest of the ingredients. You do need a pastry blender or a fork, something to roll it out. I'm going to use a handy dandy rolling pin, a spoon, and to cut around the edges I'm using a pizza cutter, but you can also use a knife. And then you need a pie plate, unless you're doing some other type of thing in a torte or something like that, but you need a general pie plate. So let me show you the ingredients and then let's get started. Now my bowl has just come out of the freezer, and I actually kept my flour in the refrigerator up until just right now. Now I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of sugar. Now if you're making a sweeter dough like for a pie, like a pumpkin pie, not a quiche, you can add a little bit more sugar. And then 2 teaspoons of salt. If you're not using salted butter, you could add a little bit more salt, or you can actually omit the salt altogether. All right, now you're going to take cold butter, and I cut it into cubes, and then you're going to take your pastry blender, and this is where you just work the dough. You want to keep going with this until you get small little beads. I remember my mom showing me this when I was a little girl, and I thought it's so funny how she just kept saying, oh nope, we're not there yet. Just got to get it to those little bead stage. I'm going to keep working this dough until I get the little beads, and then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of cold milk. Now I have that milk in the freezer right now because I actually want it the coldest it can be, because I want a very cold dough before I roll it out. Alright, my dough has the little beads in it. As you can see, all the butter has been mixed up. And now I'm going to add my milk. Okay, I don't know if you know if I saw, but I actually used my spoon to rest on the butter wrapper so I don't get the counter dirty. Just a little baker's trick. All right, I'm just going to mix this in until I get the dough that I want. Add a little bit more milk. Now if you're not going to use your pie crust right away, you want to wrap it in something like a saran wrap or a Ziploc bag, but it is best to work with the dough right away. Alright, I'm going to roll this into a ball, and then I'm going to show you how to flour a board and then make our pie crust for our pie plate. Okay, as you can see, my dough is in a nice big ball. This will make a one pie and a little bit of stuff to make the top. So what I'm going to do is remove the bowl. I'm going to take some flour. And I like to flour my board pretty well. It's not going to hurt the crust at all. Okay, and I'm putting a little bit of flour. You just don't want to get your dough sticky. That's the trick. Okay, so basically to make a pie crust, to make a circle, you just have to kind of go around with your roller. You're not going to go all the way across really, except towards the end. I can see those little bits of cold butter in my dough, which tells me it's a good dough. Now, some people say, why can't you just press the dough in? It really doesn't work that well. There are some recipes where it's a press-in dough, but you really do need to roll it out. Now, if you're not going to need to, if you are going to make like a pumpkin pie or an apple pie, then you're going to bake this crust with your pie filling. If you're going to make a pudding pie or like a silk pie or a lemon meringue pie, then you're going to have to cook your dough a little bit ahead of time. So what I do is I kind of eye it, and I can see that I need to roll it out a little bit more on this side because I want to give a little bit of an edge. Let me measure it again. That is perfect. Now I'm just going to slam it down on the dough, and now that is my template to go around. This was always my favorite part. All right, then lift up the parts of the dough that you're not going to use and set those in your bowl. You can use those for the sides of your cake or the top of cake. Then carefully lift up your pie plate. Then the way that my mom taught me was she taught me to fold it into fourths. So fold it once and fold it over again and then lift up. Then that's the way you place it back in your pie plate, just like that. How simple was that? Okay, now you get to stretch it out a little bit. Okay, bring it up on the sides. Okay, now the trick is to fold it over to kind of crimp it a little bit. And it's good that you have some flour on your hands so it doesn't get stuck. And then my grandma taught me this trick. You kind of go like this and you pinch around the sides to make that edge that you see when you go to restaurants. See how simple that is? It's almost like you're pinching somebody, but don't pinch anybody, just pinch the pie. Now you have a delicious, yummy pie crust. I will definitely put the recipe down below in our menu box. And feel free to go to our blog as well. Now, one of the things that I always do is I take a knife or a fork and I make little slits so that air gets to breathe in when you're baking it. Not too big. You don't want the pumpkin juice if you're making like pumpkin pie or apple pie to go through. And there you have a perfect pie crust. Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. That is always a tongue twister for me. We'll see you next time.